Under the management of Vincent Kompany, Bayern are back to winning. They are destroying their opponents again, finding themselves back at the top of the Bundesliga table after a shocking trophyless season in 2024. When Kompany was hired, there was a lot of doubt. People were confused on why an elite club like Bayern would hire the Burnley manager. But the Belgian has proven everyone wrong. Bayern are scoring for fun and have one of the best defenses in the league. So how exactly did a manager that was relegated last season rejuvenate the Bavarians? A lot of people focus on the fact that Vincent Kompany has a massive head, and the fact that Burnley were relegated under him. But they fail to acknowledge the fact that the only reason that Burnley were even promoted was because of Kompany's tactics. He can't really do anything about his head. That massive head though helped him be a tremendous center back, and he's got a very good footballing brain in there. You see, during his tenure as Burnley's manager, he marked a transformative period for the club. They shifted away from their traditional direct style of play to a more possession-based attacking style. We all know how Burnley were perceived before, a team that hoofed the ball and prayed, but they look completely different under Kompany. In June of 2022, Burnley appointed Vincent Kompany as the manager, making him the first individual from outside the British Isles to lead the club. As soon as he arrived, he brought a significant change to the squad, signing 16 players, predominantly young and foreign talents, to rebuild the team while working on a budget. He brought players like Josh Collin, Anas Zaroury, and Nathan Tella, all of whom had an immediate impact for him. Tella, for example, was the top goal scorer for Burnley in the 2022-2023 season. Kompany changed the entire philosophy of the club. He emphasized the importance of controlling matches through passing and movement, which was inspired directly from his experiences under Pep and Manchester City. Like I said, it was a drastically different setup than what Burnley fans were used to under Sean Dyche. The setup often involved a 4-3-3 formation that would morph into either a 3-2-5 or 2-3-5 depending on matches. This setup allowed for fluid positional rotations and sustained pressure on the opponent. It allowed Burnley to effectively progress the ball forward and create lots of chances, with the team averaging 64.56% possession and 553.57 passes per 90 minutes of football during the championship season. Defensively, under Kompany, they were well organized and had an intense pressing system. Burnley had the lowest number of shots against them in the league, averaging just 7.01 per 90 minutes, showing just how solid they were. Kompany's tactical innovations and restructuring of the squad allowed Burnley to return to the Premier League. They secured promotion with 7 matches remaining, a championship record, and clinched the title following a 1-0 victory over Blackburn Rovers. Burnley got 101 points during their season, becoming the first club to surpass the 100-point mark in the championship since Leicester City did it in 2014. Despite the successful promotion though, Burnley faced challenges when returning to the Premier League. They finished 19th with a club record low of 24 points, which led to their relegation. Kompany's commitment to a possession-based attacking style, which was so successful in the Championship, faced difficulties in the Premier League. The Athletic even talked about Kompany's tactical naivety, his stubbornness and inexperience being the main reasons that his approach didn't transition over to top-flight football. The recruitment strategy under Kompany also didn't work, as they focused on getting young and relatively inexperienced players. This led to them having a very uncompetitive squad. An article from The Independent even critiqued the club's approach, describing it as naive in the transfer market, naive on the pitch, and by extension, naive in the boardroom. To be honest, Kompany was being stubborn. He refused to change his philosophies despite it being obvious that the talent of the squad was not good enough to execute his plans in the Premier League. But what people didn't understand was that he wouldn't have any of these issues at Bayern. The gap in quality between Bayern Munich's players and Burnley's players is massive. Kompany can now have his team actually control games and play the possession style he wants because he has some of the best players in the world. The Belgian has implemented a dynamic and aggressive playing style. His system is flexible, able to rotate between being a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3. The players interchange positions seamlessly. Sometimes you'll see Jamal Musiala drift wider to receive the ball in space and travel forward using his acceleration and dribbling. Other times you'll see Olise drop down to create a central box alongside Musiala, Pavlovic, and Kimmich to overload teams centrally. In the middle of the park, Bayern try to create this box a lot in the midfield. When it becomes congested in there, Kimmich and Pavlovic drop deeper to receive the ball, which not only creates space, but allows for quick rotations with the ball. Then of course, Kompany always likes to have his fullbacks positioned in the half spaces which helps circulate the ball. If the opposition overcommits trying to close down the wingbacks and the two holding midfielders, Bayern look to then exploit the wide areas now, as their wingers will be left in 1v1 situations. I promise you, you do not want to go 1v1 against the likes of Olise, Sane, Musiala, and Gnabry. In very aggressive moments, Kompany's teams can also operate as a 2-3-5 or 2-4-4 in the build-up. This involves the central midfielder staying in the second line and fullbacks advancing higher to push the wide forwards inside alongside the central striker to occupy the last line. Alternatively, both fullbacks can also invert into the midfield. Kompany has even integrated Neuer into the build-up play, having him operate in between the two center backs like a third defender. This allows the team to have a numerical advantage even if the other team is pressing man-to-man. Then in the attacking third, Kompany wants to see lots of movement. The constant movement of players creates overload in specific areas. Not only does it confuse the defenders, but also opens up passing lanes for quick crosses or shots from outside the area. It's very important for Kompany that the team is fluid and able to shift between formations on the fly. For example, sometimes they will be in a 2-4-4, but they can quickly transition into a 3-3-4 by having Kimmich drop deep or transition into a 3-2-5 when the fullbacks push forward. Defensively, Bayern used an aggressive counter-pressing strategy, with players positioned high up the pitch to quickly gain back possession. The first line of defense is usually the attacker, either Harry Kane or Thomas Müller, and he forces the opponent to play wide, where they can be contained by the fullbacks and the midfielders. Kompany wants his team to press quickly, maintain a high defensive line, and get back the ball as quickly as possible. This aggressive style, both in the attack and defensively, has worked. Kompany's teams have always been brave, both from his time at Burnley and Anderlecht, but this is the best crop of players he has ever had at his disposal. For example, he has Harry Kane, a player that has continued to shine even under a new manager, as he once again leads the Bundesliga scoring charts. He has scored multiple hat-tricks in all competitions now. The Englishman is benefiting greatly from the 2-4-4 structure. The formation allows Bayern to start attacks from higher up on the pitch, meaning Kane can drop into the space between the lines. That's where he is at his best, because it utilizes his incredible playmaking ability. Then you have Jamal Musiala. The young midfielder has continued his development, contributing significantly to Bayern's attacking play with both goals and assists. It's how he was able to score his first career hat-trick in a DFB Pokal match. Michael Olise has adapted well since his transfer, providing once again both goals and assists. His best performance came in a 5-0 win against Werder Bremen where he got 2 goals and 2 assists, but he's been all around very good for the Bavarians. He is continuing the tradition of Bayern having incredibly skillful wingers. Operating as a central midfielder, Kimmich has been instrumental in both his defensive duties and initiating attacks in the build-up. He has been able to showcase both his leadership and consistency. Under Kompany's leadership, Bayern find themselves where they belong, at the top of the Bundesliga table. Not only have they been scoring goals for fun, but they have also been one of the toughest teams to break down defensively. Don't get it wrong, there are still areas where they need to improve. The loss against Barcelona and Aston Villa showcased the vulnerabilities in Kompany's system. It's a high-risk, high-reward system. There are spaces to exploit in counterattack like what Duran did to them in the Champions League. The high line leaves the defenders isolated, which can increase the likelihood of individual errors. If they aren't able to win the ball back quickly in the counter-press, they can be exposed from long diagonal balls. Regardless though, they're in a great spot. The last few seasons did not look pretty, with a managerial carousel happening. Then things got even worse when they were beaten to the league title by Leverkusen. But Kompany's tactical innovations and the exceptional performance of his key players have put Bayern in a position again to dominate both domestically and in European competition. If you enjoyed this video on Vincent Kompany, then I'm sure you'll love this video as well. Check it out right here.